Good morning, Lomita ISD students. Today I'll be reading Story 2 from The Diary of Gus, the Ghost-Faced Dog. This is one of my favorite stories because my grandson Ethan helped me to write it. The Haunted Mansion. Ethan and Cal were very excited that their families were coming to the ranch for the weekend. Ethan's younger brother Logan, younger sister Alyssa, and Cal's younger sister Kara were all getting old enough to go on adventures with their big brothers. After a great family meal of grilled chicken, potato salad, pinto beans, corn, and chocolate pie, Ethan suggested a game of hide and seek because there were so many wonderful hiding places at the ranch. Ethan was it, and he would look for the others. While Ethan was counting to 20, Kara found an old, abandoned, rundown barn and decided to hide in it. When Kara climbed up in the hayloft, she saw something sticking out from under the old scattered hay. It was a rusty metal toolbox with a lock on it. "Wow, I made a discovery," Kara said out loud. Then she started calling for everyone else to come. Soon Ethan, Cal, Logan, and Alyssa, with their dogs, Gus and Luke, were all at the old barn. "What's the matter, Kara? The game's not over yet," Cal said. "I made a discovery," exclaimed Kara. "Look what I found. It's probably been in this old barn for years." The children were all excited about the discovery. Ethan grabbed a big rock and broke off the rusty lock on the toolbox. "Kara, since you found it, you can open it and be the first to see what is inside," Ethan said. Kara opened the box and took out a very old piece of paper that was neatly folded. It was a map. Kara showed the map to the others. "This looks like a treasure map," everyone agreed. After careful examination, Ethan said, "I know where this map is leading." The map showed a high hill called Dark Forest Mountain. On top of Dark Forest Mountain, the map showed a 3-story house with a separate tower. The tower was named Skull Tower, and there was an X marked at the top of it. "I've heard stories about that place," Ethan said. "It's called the Haunted Mansion, and no one has lived there for years." "How far is it from here?" Cal asked. "It's about 10 miles from town, but it's only about 5 miles from the ranch if we go on the back roads in our four-wheelers," Ethan answered. Ethan and Cal each had a four-wheeler, which they kept at the ranch. Each four-wheeler had a huge front seat and a dump bed in the back. Let me show you a picture of the four-wheeler. The boys would often ride them all over the ranch and help Grandpa by picking up rocks out of the field and hauling them to a rock pile in the dump beds. Sometimes they would run errands on the ranch for Grandma and Grandpa, or they would drive their four-wheelers to the neighbors. Ethan and Cal loved driving their ATVs, and their dogs, Gus and Luke, loved riding in the dump bed in the back whenever they can. "We will have a talk to our parents and see if we can leave early in the morning," Ethan said. Kara, Logan, and Alyssa were excited. They wanted to get to ride along in the ATVs with their big brothers to find the Haunted Mansion. They raced back to their grandparents' house and asked their parents if they could all go exploring the next morning on their four-wheelers with Gus and Luke. Their parents gave them permission but told Ethan and Cal to be sure and take their cell phones and be very careful. The next day, Grandma fixed them all great lunches, just like she always did, with sandwiches and snacks, and put them in their backpacks. She also packed some dog food, water, juices, and Gatorades. "Be sure to get back before dark," Grandma said. They all agreed and said goodbye to Grandma. Ethan, Logan, Alyssa, and Gus left first, since Ethan knew the way. Ethan talked to Cal on their walkie-talkies, but Cal, Kara, and Luke were not far behind them. After a fun ride up the steep hill to the top of Dark Forest Mountain, they saw the Haunted Mansion. It looked incredibly scary. Gus and Luke jumped out of the ATV and started barking. They act like something is wrong, Ethan said. Settle down, boys, Cal told the dogs. No one saw the curtain move upstairs in the haunted mansion. The boys, Kara and Alyssa, didn't know that someone was watching them. Let's eat our lunches before we go to the Skull Tower to look for the treasure, Cal suggested. They all enjoyed their lunches. Grandma knew just what to pack for each one of them. Some of the sandwiches had ham and cheese and some were turkey. The sandwiches had lettuce and tomatoes on them. They had a variety of chips and fruit, and they each had a big slice of apple pie. Kara and Alyssa had a strawberry drink, and the boys each had a blue Gatorade. Now let's get going, Logan said. They all started walking toward the tower. Gus and Luke went first. Ethan had the map, and he looked at it again. Look what it says next to the X, said Ethan. It says, beware. I wonder why it says that, Alyssa asked. Probably because the building is so old and run down, Ethan replied. Y'all better let Cal and me go first. Okay, everyone agreed. Ethan and Cal each got out their flashlights. The mansion looked haunted. It was very old, run down, and the windows were broken out. Look, Logan shouted. I saw a curtain move in the mansion. It was probably the wind, Cal said, but he felt like they were being watched. How are we going to get in? Kara asked. Here's the door that goes into the tower, said Cal. Let's see if it is locked. When Cal reached the door, he turned the knob. It was not locked, but it was stuck. Ethan and Cal finally pushed it open. There were cobwebs all around. No one has been in here for a long time, the boys agreed. I never saw so many cobwebs, exclaimed Ethan. It's a good thing we brought our flashlights, because it is dark in here. Let's look at the map for a clue to where the treasure is. The X is at the top of the tower, so we need to climb the spiral staircase. I just hope the stairs are strong enough to hold our weight. Gus and Luke stayed outside to guard. Now they started barking. We better see what is out there, Cal said. Is anyone here? Cal called as he opened the tower door. A strange man was standing outside. What are you doing here? The man shouted. We're just exploring, Ethan answered. Who are you? I was a groundskeeper for this house a long time ago, and I still protect it from vandals, replied the man. We're not going to cause any damage to the house or the tower. We just want to look around, said Ethan. The strange man suddenly went berserk. Get out, he yelled. If there's anything here to find, I will find it. It is mine. Then he pulled a gun out of his pocket and in a rage yelled, I know the money is hidden here somewhere. When Gus saw the man pull out his gun, he leaped at the gun and knocked it out of the man's hand. Ethan called 911 from his cell phone while the dog stood growling over the strange man. When the police and Sheriff Jones got there, they found out that the man who had claimed to be the groundskeeper was really wanted for bank robbery. He was suspected of robbing a bank with his partner 20 years ago. Ethan, Cal, Kara, Alyssa, and Logan explained to Sheriff Jones all that had happened. They showed him the map. We better investigate what is hidden in this tower, if anything, said the sheriff. The sheriff went up the spiral staircase to see if he could find the treasure, which he now felt was the stolen bank loot. Here's a picture of the strange man. Sheriff Jones finally found something behind a loose stone at the top of the spiral staircase. It was over $200,000 that had been stolen from the bank 20 years ago. It had been there all this time. It looks like you'll get a reward for helping us find the stolen money, Sheriff Jones told the boys and girls. They were all ecstatic that the stolen money was recovered and that they would be getting a reward. Y'all better leave your four-wheelers here and come back for them later. so we can give you a ride home," said Sheriff Jones. "I need to explain what has happened here to your grandparents." After the sheriff talked to the prisoner, the police took him away. The sheriff came back and said, "The man that was here is a very dangerous criminal. He confessed that he shot his partner who had hidden the loot in this house after the robbery. I guess his partner made it to the old barn where you found the map." The sheriff told them that the prisoner said he had been looking for the money in the mansion all these years, but he didn't know it was up in the tower. "It is a good thing that you had your dogs with you, or he would have started shooting," said Sheriff Jones. "Gus and Luke saved our lives," they agreed. "Our dogs are heroes." Then Sheriff Jones took the boys, Kara and Alyssa, back to the ranch to explain to their parents and grandparents what had happened. They were glad that everyone was safe. Here's a picture of the kids. "Let's try to stay at the ranch and stay out of trouble for a while, kids," Grandma said. "This is too much excitement for me." The next morning, Ethan and Cal had an idea. They told Grandma they would not leave the ranch, but they wanted to go for a little hike with Gus and Luke. The boys took their dogs back to the old barn where Kara had found the map. "I wonder what happened to the other bank robber who left the map here," Ethan said. "That's what I've been wondering," Cal replied. "Luke is very good at sniffing things out and finding them. Let's look around." Before long, Luke and Gus started barking at an old tool shed back behind the barn. The boys managed to pry open the door. There lay a skeleton. A bullet was visible in one of the skeleton's ribs, and an old blood-stained shirt lay in the corner. "I guess we found the other bank robber," Ethan said. "But how are we going to tell Grandma there's going to be some more excitement?" They ran back to the house to report their new discovery. When Sheriff Jones came back out, he told the boys that they would make good detectives. However, Ethan and Cal gave all the credit to Luke and Gus. "We can prove this is a murder if they find out that this bullet came from the same gun we took from the bank robber we have in custody," said the sheriff. "You boys can't leave the house for the rest of the day. Maybe then there won't be any more excitement," Grandma announced. The sheriff, Ethan, and Cal laughed. Sheriff Jones said, "I guess you boys will have to wait until another day for your next adventure." More adventures to come. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.